Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how you can make a miniature table. The very first thing you want to do is get your template, and since it takes me a little bit to get them on my website, which they will eventually be there in a PDF form where you can just print them, I'm going to show it to you here so that you can go ahead and do it now without having to wait. However, you can get a lot of free templates on my website that's already on there, and measurements and everything for miniature. And if you're making Barbie with miniature, all you have to do is double the measurements. So for instance, if it's a 4-inch piece of wood, then you want to make it 8 inches. Okay, so this is the template for the table. It's very simple, not much to it at all. Alright, once you have all the pieces cut, then we're going to put it together. I went ahead and traced out where I want my legs and everything to go. Here I'm just using some decorative trim. You can just use anything for the sides that's the same thickness. It doesn't matter. This is just some wooden dowels, and what I did, and I'm going to tell you this is really easy. I took all of the 4, I taped them together. Then I put them on the saw, or on the sander, and I held them up against it, and I sanded it until I got that angle. Now, if you don't have an electric sander, that's okay. You can just kind of go like this on your sandpaper, and then you'll get the same effect. It'll just take longer. I would recommend, if you're going to do it like that, to start with a coarse grit and then go to a fine grit. The coarse grit will take it off faster. The fine grit will make it nice and smooth. Okay, so once you have that done, the next step that you're going to want to do is you're going to have your side pieces and your top and bottom trim. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just make those two touch, just so that I can smooth out my glue a little bit better. And I'm going to put one there, and then the other one is going to go down here somewhere. We're just going to set it there for a second because we really don't know where that's going yet. And I'm going to put a drop of glue in each corner. Okay. Now, the legs, you can put them in whatever way you want. You can have them facing right, left, whichever. It's up to you entirely. However, you do also need to put some glue on the side of this when you get to this point. Not a whole lot though, because you don't want it blobbing out all over the place. And because it is newly being glued, you may have to put more glue on it again. And I'm going to attach mine just like that. Okay, so then that's one side. Now to do the next side, you want to go ahead and align some glue right along that edge and go from there. Okay, so now I've got the glue on there the same way I had the other one, and I'm going to put that one right here, just like that. And I put glue on both sides, and my foot is going out the opposite way. Again, you can do that the way you want, and it looks like they're a little short, so I'm going to just move them in. Probably the thickness of the board when I trace my line. But that's what I'm going to do there. Alright. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this again, over here and over here. Make sure you glue that down. Oh, it's not quite dry yet. Glue that in place. And I'm going to put a little bit more glue on there just so that I can get it in that corner and get it to stay a little bit better, because it looks like it's wobbling off, which means the glue is probably absorbing very quickly. Okay, now once you have it all done, it should go together rather quickly. You want to push it all together and make sure that you have everything even and square. And you can use your lines as a guide. I actually ended up using a piece of wood for my lines, and I should have used the ruler instead. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. You can take this same template and you can design it any way you want, and you can make them smaller and make a coffee table if you like, make a regular table, whichever you want to do. It'll look like that. Okay, so one more thing, once you have it all set up, make sure your legs are square by using a square piece of wood to make sure your legs aren't going like side to side or anything. And just kind of stand it up and make sure that it's square. If you have a square that's small, that's great, but I don't have a square that small. So I'm using a square piece of wood that I know is square. Also, I took some glue and I've attached it in all of the corners to make sure that I have enough glue on there that when it dries, it's going to hold. Now, because it is in the corners, you can take a popsicle stick or a coffee stirrer or something like that, and rather than having a big glob, you can just kind of spread it out a little bit. You don't have to, but you can. And let it lay on the tabletop sitting downward until it's completely dry. And then of course when you go to stain this or paint it or whatever, you're not going to see the bottom, and if you're painting it, you definitely won't see it. And then you can use your finger or something, a rag, once it's like that, to get out anything excess. And we'll let it dry, and then we are actually going to do this table the way that we did the hutch, with a really cool glaze. I found that I really like it, and that's it. So we're going to let that dry and we'll be back. Okay guys, so we made the table, and now I'm going to show you how you can paint it this antique color. I'm not sure if you can really see that too much. That's what we're going to do. Okay? The very first thing you need to do is you need to get whatever base coat you want. Now I'm just using Behr paint because I really like how Behr goes on. This is the paint and primer all in one. And this particular color I got on clearance because it was a oops color. Now it needs to be mixed up because it's been sitting for a while. But anyway, I really like this color. So I'm going to go ahead and paint it on. You can choose whatever base coat you want. And also when I did the table, I did not mention that I sanded the edges so that it looks a little bit more contoured. That's optional. I just didn't like the flat edge that it had on there from just the regular board. Okay, so you can do what you like. If you want it sanded, you can sand it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint this. And I'm going to paint the entire table this color. All of it. And then I will be back and show you how to do the glaze effect. Okay, so we're bouncing around here today, and now that that's dry, we're still working on the bed. You can check that tutorial out in another one. I'll come back to this table. I'm going to do the glaze. I'm using Valspar Antiquing Glaze. I'm just putting it on here. Just like this. And then before I go too far, I am just going to pull some of that back off before it dries, because I do not want that to dry in the globs. So there it is like that. I'm going to go ahead and continue. And you can always go back and add more, so don't worry about it if it's not the desired darkness that you want for the antique. Okay, make sure you don't have anything like that. You want to just take your sponge. What I'm doing is very lightly feathering it out. And it's okay if it has some darker spots and lighter spots, because wood actually does have dark spots and light spots. Just like that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small piece of my sponge, and I'm going to take some of the antiquing glaze and I'm going to get it in here. Okay, now I'm going to take this small sponge and I am going to wipe it. Just like that. Try not to get anything on the top, because it will not look so good when it dries. Okay, so hold it away from that edge there if you're still working on it and it's wet. And go ahead and take a little bit of your glaze, not a lot because you're working in a small area. Just like that. And continue that process until the whole table is coated. Okay, so once you paint it, this is what it should look like. Now you can use a clear coat and put on top of it. Or you can just leave it as is. Okay guys, so to see more furniture like this, we're going to be making some chairs to go with the table, and you've already seen us do the hutch. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, click the bell for more videos, and you can make this any way you want. You don't have to do it this way, but I happen to like that. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like the bell if you want to see more and be notified, and leave a question, comment, or suggestion below. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.